All right, hello everybody. It seems like everybody is kind of freaking out about your first two assignments, the first of which is due tonight. It is the Rhetorical Context and You forum, in which you are supposed to post your video, or if you're in the non-dual credit portion of the class, you're going to post kind of a forum post. So I'm just going to talk to you about these two assignments. Similarly to things that I've told you in the past, reading and writing kind of go hand in hand. So he does require you to do a little bit of reading in order to get down to what the actual question is asking. So if I pull up the actual question, here, I'm actually going to share my screen because those of you who are watching me live right now can actually come back and watch this later when you're at home and freaking out. So let's look at the rhetorical context and you question. All right, so he kind of starts off with like a preamble in which he kind of explains a lot of this information, kind of sets all this up. The main thing you need to focus on are the two questions here in the center of the post. So what are some different rhetorical situations you find yourself in routinely? Routinely is the key there. What are some of these rhetorical situations that you find yourself in quite often? He gives the example that you wouldn't talk to your friends the same way you would talk to the president. How routinely are you talking to the president? Don't at me because you're probably at the Donald all the time. Yes, what's one that you do on a fairly regular basis? And so what are some of these rhetorical situations you find yourself in routinely, regularly, and how do you adjust your tone and your persona? Your tone, how you're talking, and then your persona, how you're presenting yourself. So how do you change those two things in these rhetorical situations that will occasionally change to meet that particular situation's needs? The one that he gives you the example of that you lose, but is the low-hanging fruit, is you would not, you would not talk to your classmates, the person sitting next to you, or if you're at home, the person that is name is above you in the classroom thing, you would not talk to them the same way that you would talk to our principal. You would have a different presentation, a different tone. Heck, you would not talk to them the same way you would talk to me. So, and even then, perfect example, one of you in here, because I can't say your name because it's going out to the wider internet, one of you in here is related to me, some quasi in a little bit. The way that you interact with me at school is different than the way you interact with me at a family event. Is that correct? See, that is a rhetorical situation that you have to adjust for as you go forward. So that's kind of what we're looking for. The rhetorical situation changes and the way that you present yourself kind of changes. So most of you have already actually answered that one and have done a somewhat decent job with that one, just kind of seeing the wider thing and just hearing y'all talk. The one that I feel you're missing out on, and this is the one where I need your attention, the one I feel like you're all missing out on is the second half. Finally, think of your frame of reference. I don't think y'all been addressing the frame of reference part of this question. While this gets a little bit more specific in various ways for a given topic, in general, what are some things that you feel have gone into shaping how you see the world? What are some things that have impacted to make you have the perspective that you have, that make you view the world through the eyes that you view it? All right, what impacts have those factors had? What are some of those factors that are helpful and ones that get in the way? All right, I'll give an example from me. All right, and I'll even go back to whenever I was sitting in this room taking a class similar to this. Even though I didn't have to do a rhetorical context assignment, I sat in this classroom. I was a student here. So I'm going to go back in time 14 years because I'm old. And the one thing that I could say, would talk about is my mother still is a teacher. And as a teacher myself, like that shapes the way I view the world. And so back when I was 18, my mother being a teacher makes me view things that deal with education from a slightly different perspective than other people that would view them. I am not as critical towards it. I am more willing to hear out kind of what the teachers are trying to shill towards the students. I'm not necessarily the most respectful, but I am somewhat a little bit more respectful than your average run-of-the-mill kid when it comes to interacting with a teacher. So that is how my mother has helped shape my worldview and has helped me shape the rhetorical situation I would find myself in. Another one that I could possibly do would be when I was your age, I had a job, and not all of the people I went to school with had jobs, and so me having a job shaped how I kind of looked at things compared to someone who didn't have a job. I would be more uh, I would be more along the lines of, not that I didn't care about my schoolwork, but I couldn't dedicate my entire life to my schoolwork like my other classmates that did not have a job, and so they had more time to focus on those particular efforts. And so that would often cause us to discuss things about the homework that we were having from a different light and a different perspective. So that's what we're kind of looking at. What are some things that have gone into shaping the world how you view the world? Or here's another easy one for me. I went to Catholic school. Me going to Catholic school has really affected how I view the worldview. My religious upbringing has helped really shape the way that I perceive things and interact with things. So those are the things that you're looking for that second half of the question is, what are the things that have gone into shaping how you view the world? Y'all present the rhetorical situation just fine. I need you to kind of explain the things that have gone into shaping how you interact with the world. Basically, what has happened to you or what has helped you have your own unique perspective on things. You do have a unique perspective on things. Let's talk about the other one. The other one is a little bit easier. That is the show, don't tell assignment. With the show don't tell assignment, in roughly 150 words, describe a food that you especially love or hate and include all the gritty details. You need to exploit the senses. Try to appeal to as many senses as you possibly can. And as pointed out before, you need to be as specific as possible. Don't need to be vague. Using vague nouns like the cat from yesterday's lesson, all of you had a different cat in your head, and then when you saw Mr. Wade Christian's cat, it was a different cat. It was a cute little kitty and not the giant saber-toothed lion that the man in the fourth row in the second desk was imagining. So each of you had a different one. So you need to be very specific. One of the best ways to help shortcut and get to that more specific stuff is through using figurative language. One of the better ones that I've seen people write in this class before, they chose mashed potatoes and gravy, and they compared the mashed potatoes and gravy to a volcano. And they did very well with that. So that's the type of thing that we're looking for. We're looking for an extended metaphor preferably, but if you want to send in as many similes as you can to get your point to be the most specific as possible, that is key. So appeal to the senses on this assignment and figurative language. Those are the two big things that you need to do to help get a good grade on this. Also avoid those words. But if you use figurative language, you should avoid those words. If you at home have any questions, or you here have any questions when you're at home watching this later, email me and I'll try to get back to you and answer them as best as I can. All right. And so until next time, peace out. A-Town down.